Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Go Fernanda Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki Glorious to the assembled world. So we're reading from text 46, and it's the last verse in chapter 6 in Canto 2, which was entitled Purusha Sukta Confirmed. Pradhanyato Yan Isha Atmananti. I said that wrong. Amanati. See. Pradhanyato Yan Isha Amanati. Lila Avataran Purusha Bhuman Lila Avataran Purushasya Bhunan Apyatam. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Let me go get it right later. Karna Kashaya Soshan Apiyatam Karna Kashaya Soshan Anukramishe Ta Iman Supeshan Anukramishe Ta Iman Supeshan. Okay. Pradhanyato Yanusha Amanati. Yanusha Amanati. Vilavataran Purushasya Bhumna. Apiyatan Karna Kasasya Soshan Anukramishe Ta Imam Supesham Pradhanyato Yanusha Amanati. Pradhanyato Yanusha Amanati. Lilavataran Purushasya Bhuna. Apiyatam Karna Kasasya Soshan Anukramishe Ta Imam Supeshan. Anyone else?
Pradhanyato Yanusha Amanati.
Pradhanyato Yanusha Amanati.
Lilavataran Purushasya Bhumna.
Lila Avatara Purushasya Punam
Apiyatam Kanarasaya Sosam
Apiyatam Kana Kusaya Sasan
Anukramisya Taimam Supasyan
Anukramishe Tamimam Supesham
Pradanyataya Vishamananti Lilavatam Purasasyam Punam Apiyatam Kanarasaya Sosam Anukramisya Taimam Supasam Pradanyataya Vishamananti Lilavatam Purusasya Punam Apiyatam Kanarasaya Sosam Anukramisya Taimam Supesham Pradanyataya Vishamananti Lilavatam Purusasya Punam
Apiyatam kana kasya shoshan
Apiyatam Kanarasaya Sosam
Anukram ishyeta imam shupeshan
Anukramisya Taimam Supesham
Pradanyatayan rishamananti
Pradanyataya Vishamananti
Lilavataran purushasya bhunaha
Lilavatam Purusasya Punam
Apiyatam karnakashaya shoshan
Apiyatam Kanarasaya Sosam
Anukramishyeta imam supesham
Anukramisya Taimam Supesham.
So the word for word is Pradanyata,
Pradanyata
chiefly,
chiefly
Yan,
Yan
all these,
all these
Vishay,
Vishay
O Narada,
Arnar
Amanati,
Amanati
worship,
worship
Lila,
Lila
pastimes,
pastime
Avataran,
Avatam
incarnations,
incarnations
Purushasya,
Purusasya
of the personality of Godhead,
of the personality of God
Buna,
Umna
the supreme,
supreme
Apiyatan,
Apiyatam
in order to be relished by you.
in order to be relished by you
Karna,
Karna
ears.
ears
Kasaya,
Kasaya
foul matter. Soshan,
Sosan
that which evaporates.
that which evaporates
Anukramishe,
Anukramisya
shall state one after another.
shall state one after another
Te,
Te
they.
Te
Iman,
Iman
as they are in my heart.
as they are in my heart
Supeshan,
Suseshan
all pleasing to hear.
all pleasing to hear.
So the translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
O Narada, now I shall state, one after another, the transcendental incarnations of the Lord known as Leela avatars. Hearing of their activities counteracts all foul matters accumulated in the year. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore they are in my heart. Please repeat after me. O Narada,
O Narada,
now I shall state,
now I shall state
one after another,
one after another
the transcendental incarnations of the Lord,
the transcendental incarnations of the Lord,
known as Leela avatars.
known as Leela avatars.
Hearing of their activities
Hearing of their activities
counteracts
counteracts
all foul matters
all foul matters
accumulated in the year.
accumulated in the year.
These pastimes are pleasing to hear
These pastimes are pleasing to hear
and are to be relished.
and are to be relished.
Therefore they are in my heart.
Therefore they are in my heart.
And whose heart is that? Right, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma speaking to Narada. So, now this is Srila Prabhupada's purport. As it was said in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 158, one cannot be fully satisfied by hearing unless and until one is given a chance to hear of the transcendental activities of the Lord. So Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress the importance of narrating the transcendental pastimes of the Lord as he comes and manifests himself here on the surface of the material planets. Every living entity has a tendency to hear pleasing messages, and as such, almost every one of us is inclined to hear news and talks broadcast by the radio stations. But the difficulty is that no one is satisfied at heart by hearing all these messages. The cause of such dissatisfaction is the incompatibility of the message with the innermost stratum of the living soul. This transcendental literature is especially prepared by Srila Vyasadeva to give the utmost satisfaction to the people in general by narration of the activities of the Lord, as instructed by Sri Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva. Such activities of the Lord are principally of two varieties. One concerns the mundane manifestation of the material creative force, and the other deals with his pastimes in the form of different incarnations in terms of the time and place. There are innumerable incarnations of the Lord, like the waves of the river, flowing constantly in and out. Less intelligent persons take more interest in the creative forces of the Lord in the material world, and being disconnected from their relationship with the Lord, they put forward many theories of the creation in the name of scientific research. The devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces work concurrently by the action and reactions of the material energy of the Lord. Therefore, they take more interest in the transcendental activities of the Lord as he incarnates himself on the surface of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of such activities of the Lord, and people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. There are 1,001 rash literatures on the market, but one who has taken interest in the Srimad Bhagavatam loses all interest in such filthy literatures. Sri Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord so that they may be drunk by Narada as transcendental nectar. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Purusha Sukta, confirmed. The verse again is, O Narada, now I shall state one after another the transcendental incarnations of the Lord known as Leela avatars. Hearing of their activities counteracts all foul matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatam Jayamudiriye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should first offer his respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nivasesha Sunyavadi Paskita Desatar. So what does it say? 10 to 8. Okay, so there's a lot in this purport, and and this verse. But there's a lot going on today, so, and this was kind of thrown at the last minute. So anyway, but I just wanted to mention that here, first of all, we understand that Narada has asked Brahma at the beginning of this, that are you the Supreme Creator? And because I see that you're doing meditation and on someone or something, and you're performing penances, austerities. So, but I don't see anyone beyond you. And Lord Brahma explains, no, I'm the secondary creator. Actually, and then he begins to explain the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how Vishnu has supplied all of the ingredients for the creation of this material world. And it is simply, it's like, he also describes how this, how you can see Krishna and everything, and he describes the Virat Rupa, the external manifestation of the Lord in material energy, how the trees are like the hairs on his body, the mountains are like the bones, the rivers are like the veins of the streams, they're like the veins of his body. The, the birds nesting in his hair. There's some, what are some of the other things? The sun and the moon are like his eyes. So I think the ocean is the navel. And so there's all these things, but in other words, wherever you see anything great or powerful, or any great and powerful personality within this material universe, you realize that that is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. And for someone to come along and then try to say that they own, like I was thinking about Bali Maharaj this morning, and since we are going to talk about incarnations and how they're nectarian, so Bali Maharaj, actually, even though he was born in amongst the Rakshasas, he was actually born in a devotee family. Prahlad Maharaj is his grandfather. I'm pretty sure it's his grandfather. And so he always had a desire in his heart to see Krishna. But his guru, Sukracharya, was, he was a good guru in the sense that he was teaching him how to perform his activities so that they can improve their material comfort. And at the same time worship God and worship Vishnu, but not to the point where, you're going to surrender everything. I mean, just like here, just to backtrack a little bit, Narada Muni, after hearing the Bhagavatam, hearing from Brahma about the Creator and about the creation, he then, sees his disciple, Srila Vyasadeva, the lunar incarnation of the Lord, who's just written the handbook, the manual on how to, all the four Vedas, all the Puranas, all the Upanishads, all the different Vedic knowledge on how to work this machine, this material universe, and these material bodies. So that you can, what not to do and what to do if you want to get mystic cities, which demigods you should worship if you want a beautiful spouse, if you want great wealth, if you want great health, all the different demigods to worship, so you can extend your life and live a very long, comfortable life within, so quote unquote, within the material creation. And he's feeling, after writing all of this, it's very pious. It gives all this and how to avoid the sinful activities of this world and not implicate yourself further in suffering, and how you can extend your life for a very long time in this material creation and be godly. But that's not going to give you happiness, because we're not of this material world. We are a different quality. We will never feel, like it said here, the stratum, the living entity, the very essence, the stratum of the soul, the sound vibration. This is not an ordinary sound vibration. You read a sound vibration written by someone like J.R. Tolkien. It's a very interesting Lord of the Rings story. But it's not transcendental. It's not connected to Krishna. And anything connected to Krishna is Krishna. This is a transcendental sound vibration, and it awakens the soul, who we really are, within the heart, buried under, here it mentions, under mountains of filth. That all this stuff has been fed through our ear holes, and now it's being purified. And Narada Muni explains Vyasadeva, you're not feeling satisfied because you haven't described the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we have the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it said that after Krishna leaves this material world, after his pastimes are over, they ask, where will the religious principles, where can we take shelter? And it said, in the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the Lord incarnates himself in his pastimes, in these transcendental sound vibrations. And you can actually experience the pleasure and nectar for which we're always hankering. And so like Bali Maharaj, he conquers the entire universe. But think about it. We just heard that the entire universe is the Virat Rupa, is Krishna. How can you conquer Krishna's energy? How can you own anything in this world? It all belongs to Krishna, this false proprietorship. We need to understand that we're stewards. We never own anything. Really, we are acting as the stewards of this portion. And he thinks it's a vast universe. It's this vast universe we've conquered in one. And then, everyone's very upset. All the demigods, Indra and all of them, and Aditi, the mother of the demigod, she's very, very upset. And she pleads with Vamanadeva, please save us from this plight we're in. And Vamanadeva comes as a dwarf, Brahmin, very sweet looking, small boy. And he asks, I'm just giving you a little synopsis, that I just need 3 footsteps in charity. That's all, 3 footsteps. And he said, come on, I can give you an island. I can give you, a whole continent. I can give you a planet. I've got this whole universe. Well, then, if I'm not going to be satisfied with 3 steps, then I'll never be satisfied. That's the nature of greed. No matter how much you get. Oh, I just inherited so much. Oh, but it's not enough. Because when, and that person has a little bit more. So, yeah, I didn't have anything, but now I have, so many crores. But, I don't think it's enough. I need more. I need more. More. It's never enough. So, but Vamana says, I'll be satisfied with 3 steps. After 2 steps, he covers the entire creation. Because the creation is his. This one universe, this vast universe that he thought he just conquered, it is just 2 steps of God's creation. 2 steps. And he says, where am I going to put the 3rd? I don't know. But his spiritual master is saying, no, if you do that, you lose everything. Krishna will take everything from you. You won't have a nice home for your family, the comforts. This is the kind of guru he is. He's teaching him how to worship God so that you will be materially comfortable and live a pious life. And Bali's saying, but you told me that I should offer everything to Vishnu. Yes, but then he's going to take everything. This is a trick. He'll take everything. You'll have nothing. All this you have acquired. But he realizes Sukracharya is misleading him. And he gives him everything, and then he gets everything back in return anyway. But he gets, we all know the story. I just wanted to give some little import to this. Because I forgot. Today is Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance day, and I just realized that this morning. So I have to admit I don't know anything hardly about Gopal Bhatta. So I went back and read for about 15 minutes, and I'd like to share some of those things that I read, and if anyone has anything, they can add to it. Gopal Das Goswami is one of the 6, Gopal Bhatta Das Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis. He's one of the younger ones. Jiva Goswami is younger. His father was Venkata Bhatta, and he had a very intimate relationship with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a resident of Sri Rangam, and it's understood that their relationship appeared to be like in the mood of Shakya or friendship. And Gopal Bhatta is his son, Venkata Bhatta's was his father. And once Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the Sri Rangam temple, the deity of Ranganath, and there were many, hundreds or thousands Brahmins chanting Vedic mantras. And Lord Chaitanya came in singing. His voice was as sweet as 1,000 Gandharvas. This beautiful voice of the Lord chanting Hare Krishna. And he was very equivalent, effulgent, dancing like just with great grace. And then he fell into ecstasy. He was rolling around, and everyone thought it looked like a golden mountain was rolling around on the temple room floor. Everyone there, all the Brahmins, were completely, overtaken with these like shadow reflection of the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Can you imagine hearing the Lord's voice singing the Hare Krishna mantra? How sweet that is! How sweet the sound! And so Venkatas Bhatta immediately had a connection with Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya ends up going back to his home. And Gopal Bhatta is very, very young, and he gets the chance to sit. Lord Chaitanya would constantly pick him up and put him on his lap. And he spent 4 months with them. And one of his brothers was Prabhupada Saraswati. So then, at the age of about 30, Gopal Bhatta goes to Vrindavan, and as soon as he arrives, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami immediately go and see him, and they start to treat him as if he was one of their brothers. And they had a very close relationship. And Lord Chaitanya gave Gopal Bhatta certain instructions about helping Sanatana Goswami write some books. He also helped do the outline for Jiva Goswami's Sandarbhas. And he was very, very humble. And in the eternal rasa, he's a manjari by the name of Guna Manjari, who serves Srimati Radharani. Then so after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappears, leaves the terrestrial plane, he then, Gopal Bhatta Goswami is feeling great separation. And one night Lord Chaitanya comes to him in a dream and tells him that if you want to have my association, I want you to go to Nepal. He goes up to Nepal, he takes bath in a river called, I think it was called Kali Gandaki, something like that. And when he was taking bath, after he took the bath, he took his water pot and got water out of the river, and there were a bunch of Shalagram Shilas in it. And he threw the Shilas back into the water. He then picks up some water, and again there's Shalagram Shilas. Once again he puts them back into the river. The third time he picks up the water, and there's 12 Shilas in the pot. And so therefore he realizes, okay, obviously I'm supposed to take these Shalagram Shilas and worship them. He goes back to Vrindavan and worships these 12 Shalagram Shilas very, very sincerely, very first-class, devotional, strict worship. At one point, but one thing is that he's constantly feeling that I wish I had a two-armed form of the Lord to worship. And he actually makes a prayer, Prahlad Maharaj prayed for the Lord to appear, and Hiranyakasipu appeared from a marble pillar. I mean, you can appear from a marble pillar, certainly. Yeah, Lord Nrsimha did. What did I say? I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah, for Hiranyakasipu, Lord Nrsimha appeared from the marble pillar, and so he was thinking like that, he was praying like that. Then one day this very wealthy man, and they refer to him as Seth, which means a wealthy Vaishya, he wanted to give a donation to Gopal Bhatta, and he gave him some nice deity clothes for actual two-armed form of the Lord. And Gopal Bhatt says, well, I appreciate it, but I'm just worshipping Shilas. And he said, no, I want you to keep these. So, I don't know if it was exactly immediately, but it seems to indicate that very shortly thereafter, after finishing worshipping one day of the Shilas, he put a wicker basket over the deities and took rest. Went in the morning to take bath in the Jamuna. When he picks up the wicker basket, Radharaman is there. If you can look it up on Gaudiya Vaishnava history or Gaudiya history, and you can see a picture of this Radharaman deity. It's absolutely beautiful. The only deity that actually has fingernails and teeth. And his eyes are like, I don't know if they're made from conch shells or not, but they're very striking. There's no Radharani, but they worship as if Radharani is there, Radharaman. These deities have been worshipped, this deity, or these deities, because they consider Radharani there. And it was from the Damodar Shila, and they call the deity Radharaman. So then he continued to worship Radharaman along with 11 Shilas. The one turned into Radharaman. And these deities have been worshipped steadily, straight through, purely since 1542. And only that deity and the deity of Vrindadevi are the only two deities in Vrindavan that have been worshipped steadily since that era, and didn't have to be transferred to Jaipur when the Muslims invaded. There was even, at some point, I don't know if it was the 1900s or, within the last 100 or so years, some scientists wanted to see if this is true. And they, under great supervision, the deity was examined, and they found no evidence that this deity was carved. And on the back of the deity is still the remnants of the Shalagram Shila that it transformed from. So this is a self-manifested form of the Lord. Very beautiful. So Gopal Bhatta, he lived to the age of 75, and today is his disappearance day. And so I just thought I'd mention something about that. I don't know very much, but he was very humble. He asked Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to leave his name out of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And don't go anywhere, you're next.
I'm bringing some special Mahaprabhu.
Okay. So
Does
then,
you have now?
what?
Does you have Gendra Prabhu now?
Yeah. So, and then, anyway, 75. He was 75 years when he left, and didn't want to be mentioned in the Krishnadas Kaviraj Chaitanya Charitamrita. He helped Sanatana Goswami with Hari Bhakti Vilas, and he helped Jiva Goswami with the Sandarbhas, and he wrote one other book as well. And so on this day, about 500 years ago, he left this mortal world, and he is one of Radharani's manjaris called Guna Manjari.
Guna Manjari?
Guna, yeah. Guna, Guna. Guna Astika, I think it said, they call it. So that's all I have on him. I just tried to do a 15-minute quick reading. Does anyone have anything?
Something about when you're talking about Vamana Day, what came to my mind, when we have the different processes of devotional service, like Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, I could go down. The part one was Atmanivedanam, which means surrendering everything to the Lord, and that's his, the personality involved with that, and Atmanivedanam is following.
Right. Thanks for reminding me. That's true. So, yes.
Point that you were mentioning about Gopal Bhatta Goswami, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Sri Rangam, and then his father hosted him and then really took care. And even now there's a put statue of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srirangam. It's being worshipped even now. Right in the middle, just in front of the temple, it's there. As a proof of how that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Srirangam is still there.
Thank you. You have something?
When you lifted the wicker basket, all 12?
No, there was just the one, and the
But
other
I mean,
11.
was the other ones still, the other Shilagrams, were they there?
Yeah,
Or were they
yeah,
all?
they're still there.
I have something special, Radharman Kopen.
Really?
So,
Wow. There was something about his cloths that was mentioned, and I don't remember what it was, but anyway, yeah, there was just the one manifested, and the other 11 stayed there, and he worshipped all 11.
Ah.
So we're going to turn it over now to Nimai.
no, Padma, she coming now.
Okay, well,
So this is Radharman Kopen.
oh wow.
Don't take some, let's see.
And shall break in if Prabhu come?
Yeah, he's in the office, but he's coming.
Yeah.
Kopen.
This is,
Radharman
I don't know.
Kopen.
Wow. People. What is it now?
Oh, this is Radharman Kopen.
How did she get that?
Yes, how did you get that?
Inside connections.
And yeah, there's a family, there's also a story that describes how the beginning of the descendants of the Brahmins that have been worshipping since Gopal Bhatta left. There was one time he spent some time at some Brahmin's house